to play ringette, and one game I got hit. It was a bad knock the wind out of you kind of hit. See, I was doing a tight turn getting the ring for the ref when a girl on the other team spotted me. She must have been mad at something because when she saw me from the blue line, she grabbed her stick in both hands and charged me with the force of a semi-truck. She hit me right on target and I crumpled to the ground. I was right next to the boards and I slid in head and shoulders first. It was bad. My dad swore and kicked over a trash can. "This is typical UOV bullshit," he screamed to the other team's fans as he raced over the bench to help me. I went to the hospital because I thought I broke my collarbone, but I ended up leaving with this small pamphlet about minor concussions. See, what a lot of people don't know is that you don't have to be knocked unconscious to get lasting effects from a hit. This just happened to be my 5th concussion, which, as I later found out, stockpile on each other. I got one when I fell off my change table when I was a baby. I got one when I slipped on an icy patch while I was skiing down the hill. I got one while I hit my head on the top bunk at camp, and I got one when I tripped and dove headfirst into my stage at my old school. I guess you could call me an accident-prone person, but my clumsiness has nothing to do with that last hit. I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I barely knew anything about concussions, but now I could probably write a couple novels. Does anybody really need to know that much about concussions? Anyways, I had the symptoms: headaches, lack of concentration, trouble with memorization, but I also had my grade 9 exams, so my motto became, I will work harder. Can't study for more than an hour? Can't write an English essay? Can't sleep because my head is pounding? No, I will work harder. This went on until that summer when my brain decided enough was enough. It switched from the on switch to the off. See, one of my countless doctors once told me, "Alex, it's like you had a pot of boiling water and you stuck a lid on it. Eventually, the water is going to boil over and your lid will fall off." Countless doctors may seem like an exaggeration, but trust me, I can name a few. Family doctor specializing in concussions, family doctor specializing in teenage medicine, neurologist, neuropsychologist, neurochiropractor, neurosurgeon, psychologist, physiotherapist, acupuncturist, and chronic pain team. And these are just the categories of doctors, not the amount of doctors themselves. Let's just say in the beginning, I had all my doctors stumped. It took me a 3rd visit to the emergency room at CHIO for them to make the concussion connection. See, in the beginning, my parents just thought that maybe I was having a mental breakdown. And sometimes that's definitely how it felt. Sometimes I worried if I might just disappear the next time I crossed the street. After my brain switched off that one day, I felt like I was a new person. I was sad all the time. I couldn't stop crying. I even went 3 days without sleeping. And whenever I went outside, I felt like I was in danger, like everything around me was saying, "Threat, threat, threat." See, this turned out to be PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. Even if I wasn't hung up on the hit, my body was. It was like, ha ha ha, you tricked us once, but now we're going to be ready, all the time. So that's what was happening. My body was constantly living its expectation of a next hit, one that hopefully was never going to happen. When school started in September, after a lot of trial and error, my parents decided that I wasn't going to be able to attend. I ended up missing about a year and a half. I felt like all my friends had moved into the farmhouse, but I was still stuck outside in the barn. Sometimes people would say to me, "Oh, Alex, you're so lucky you get to stay at home all day and just relax." It would take me all my willpower not to just shake them and say, "You have no idea, I would switch places with you in a second," instead of feeling like I'm in a 3D movie and my body's red but I'm blue, instead of shaking all the time, instead of being in pain. But instead I would just shake my head and laugh. And other times when people look at me like, "Oh, she hit her head 4 years ago, why can't she just get over it already?" It gets frustrating, but they just haven't felt the personal effects of a concussion yet, and I hope they never do. But let's end this on a positive note, because contrary to the rant I just made, I'm actually a really positive person. I don't let any of this get to me, and I think you can put a positive spin on anything. Fast forward through a lot, and 4 years later, and I'm in school, and also hopefully I'll be able to graduate next year. I feel more like myself, like I know who I am and what I believe in. I also have tons of advice to pass on to anybody who is suffering from a concussion right now. My number one piece of advice being, take the time you need to heal. Don't put a lid on your pot of boiling water. After all, your health is the most important.